Hello, everyone. Thank you today for joining. I'm Coach Losi. I'm the head coach of the Hammerheads, and we want to thank you for your interest in our team. We have a lot to cover today. So first, we're going to go through our presentation, and then we'll take questions at the end. We'd appreciate it. Looks like everybody's pretty much done it, but mute your mic so everyone else can hear. One of the topics for today, the biggest thing, we're going to be going over all of our subgroups. The thing you should be thinking about as we do this is which subgroup you want to join. By the time you complete the registration in the next week or two, you'll need to have decided which subgroup you would like to join if you're going to join the team. So we'll go through. Our president and vice president are going to present all the subgroups and what they do, as well as an overview of the team. So let's go ahead and get started. So for those that aren't familiar, I want to explain what FIRST is. FIRST is an acronym that stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. It's been around since about 1989 and was founded by Woody Flowers, who was a professor at MIT, and Dean Kamen. It's global, and its purpose is to prepare young people for the future. It's a nonprofit, volunteer-driven organization, and it prepares students for the classroom and workforce. The idea is, and our team very much stands by this philosophy, it's more than just robots. We use this as a vehicle for learning. So as mentors and coaches, we're trying to always teach the students the skills they need in the workforce. So overall, we're talking since 1989, about 3.2 million students have participated in these events. There are FIRST teams in over 100 countries, and 81% of alumni declare majors in STEM by their fourth year of college. And 83% take leadership roles. And I know we have a lot of leaders on our team, and there's a lot of leadership opportunity at every level of our team. So those that are familiar will know this progression. So on the left is where we are now, the high school. We also have First Tech Challenge, the middle school First League. We've got upper elementary Lego League and lower elementary Lego League, and then Discover as well. So I want to touch on those briefly because we also support those lower levels. So first is the FLL Challenge and Explore. These are elementary schoolers. Typically, our team sponsors a tournament at Troy High every year to support the elementary school competitions. They compete with Lego robots, and they have 2.5 minutes to complete as many challenges as possible. They also build a solution to a real-life problem that changes every season. Next slide. At the middle school level, which some of you may have participated in, there's a program called FTC, and this very closely mirrors our high school program. It's just a scaled down field and a bit smaller robot. I'd call it, for those parents on the call, a rector set construction. It's a 2x2, 2 robot versus 2 robot alliance, and they compete to score as many points as possible. And then finally, the high school competition. You can see the picture here. I believe that's our state championship. There's 514 teams across the state in Michigan. 47 of them are in Oakland County, and Oakland County is a very competitive district. On our team alone, there's over 100 students, so you can imagine when you put all those teams together, it's a lot of students participating.
Okay, so now that Mr. Losi...
Let me introduce you real quick, David. So next I'm going to hand over to David. He's our team president. I'm going to have him go over our team specifics.
Okay, so now that Mr. Losi has talked about a bit about what FIRST is, let's talk about what Team 2260 Hammerheads is about. So first, to go over some of our accomplishments, the team has been very successful in business and engineering, especially in recent years. So we have won the Impact Award at the state championship, which is the Impact Award is the most prestigious award in FIRST. For the four times in the past 5 years, and then we've won the District Impact Award every single year between 2017 and 2024. This past year, we were awarded the Sustainability Award at States, and then in 2022, we also got the Engineering Inspiration Award. Now, in 2024 and 2023, so 2 consecutive seasons, our robot at the state championship actually won our division, and that's a very impressive feat to do twice in a row. And in 2023, we were also the state championship finalists. So from those 514 teams in Michigan, only 6 teams will make it to the finals. So it's very difficult. And for individual awards, we have this past year we had a Michigan State Championship Woody Flowers Award winner, Mr. Two. And then we, for Dean's List, have 1 winner, 6 finalists, and 1 semifinalist. So for those of you who don't know, there's a very high prestige that comes with winning a blue banner. So the way you earn a blue banner is if you win a very like important award, maybe like an impact award or winning a competition. And this past season, we were given 3 of them. The impact award at Belleville, winner at our division at States, and also the Woody Flowers Finalist Award at States as well. So this is a chart that kind of shows the leadership structure on our team. So we have a president, and then under them is our 2 vice presidents, one for business and one for engineering. So the team is split into 2 sectors. So there's a business side and there's also an engineering side, which you guys will learn about later from the VPs. And then each like subgroup within the sector has leads. And there's also mentors who are very experienced in their respective fields who are able to guide us throughout the season. So now let's talk about why you should actually join our team. And there's a couple. The first one being that you are given many opportunities to help the community. So we do a bunch of outreach events. We'll do things like adopt the road to clean up the roads. And then if you've done FLL or FTC, you may be familiar with Sharkfest, Mayhem, and Sharknado. And those are events that we help to support and host. And then another one being that you can learn real world skills. So the VPs will get into this more in depth later, but if you were to join design and engineering, you would learn how to CAD. For programming, you would learn how to code, and then you'd learn public speaking. And then for fabrication, you could learn how to use tools and machinery. And another very important part is that from the org chart that we showed before, you may have noticed that there are a ton of leaders. And that the reason for that is that we have a lot of students on the team, but we're also a very student-led team. This means that you're given tons of opportunities to take initiative. So the students are the ones who are able to make decisions, plan things out. And if someone wanted to plan an event out, they'd be given the opportunity to do that if they provide their correct information. Okay, so one of my favorite reasons is the thrill you get during competitions. So I'll play about 30 seconds of this clip from one of our competitions recently, and it kind of shows the unique experience you get at an FRC competition.
2, 1, crescendo! All right, here we go. From tournament for match number 28. Everybody moving. Forward by the pool lines into the speaker on the right side. Red Alliance as well. Entering the teleoperator mode. Driver's head control the robot. Everybody moving pretty close for the pool alliance.
Okay, so that was like a short clip of us playing a match. So we're right here, and you saw that we were jumping around. There was a lot of screaming, and overall, it's just a very exhilarating experience to be there. Oh, that's not right. Okay, and another one that's very fun is the excitement you get when you actually win. So this is a clip this is the clip of our reaction when we won our division at states this year. So. Okay, so as you could probably tell, it's a very exciting experience. Okay, so now let's go over a bit how the team season is structured. So an important thing to know is that we are active year round. We don't just do things in a couple months. We are always doing something no matter the time it is. So from June to September, we can call this the off season. We will be doing outreach events and leadership training for the new leads, as well as rookie training, which we'll get into later in this presentation. And we'll also attend off-season competitions, which are very fun. We actually went to one like a couple of weeks ago. And September through December, this is more off-season. We'll do even more outreach, more rookie training, and also team bonding. So for example, this past year, there was a day where the team met up and we played games like dodgeball and also tug of war, and it was a really fun experience, and everyone was able to bond with each other. And we'll do more off-season competitions. In January through March, this is the build season. It's probably when the team is most active, but we'll get into detail of what actually goes on in this period of time later. So between January and March, we'll have build sessions and also impact award training. And then in March through April, this is where all the in-season competitions are held. So our district events, the state championship, as well as worlds, which this is a photo of. There's a lot of people who go. And in May, this is where we have our leadership selection and drivers tryouts. So the drivers are the people who are actually controlling the robot during a match. And it's a very fun experience. And there's even more planning for how the season will go. Okay, so now I'd like to hand it off to Shamanth, our business vice president, to talk a bit about what the business subgroups do.
Thank you, David. Hello, everyone. My name is Shaman Shastri, and I'm the business vice president of our team. I'll be going over what being a part of business means. So basically, in being in robotics, you might not think of it initially as having business a lot, and it might seem as a complete STEM-related club. But actually, the contrary is true. Robotics provides a very unique opportunity in high school for high school students to be a part of an actual business, where that means having all aspects of it, whether it be handling the money or talking with others outside in our community, as well as planning and organizing events for our team. So there's a lot which goes on in business, which I'm going to go over now. So first off, sponsorship. Sponsorship is related to all the money that we try and bring into our team to perform all sorts of activities, especially the robot. The robot is a huge, needs a lot of resources, especially money and build space. Yeah, so first off, some important skills that you develop being a part of sponsorship is formal communication with corporations, whether it be on the phone or through email. Accounting skills, keeping track of a lot of money that comes in and out. Presentation skills, because we'll be talking in person, especially to a lot of local businesses, as well as global businesses online. And it's a really crucial skill where you learn to formally do that. Sales skills, and of course, script writing as well. Now, all these skills help you because you develop to potentially excel in these future professions. And some of these are listed: motivational speaker, PR specialist, accounting spokesperson, and much more. Here are our team sponsors. So in the past few years, we've done a lot of work reaching out the same way that I mentioned And these are the existing sponsors that have been graceful enough to sponsor our team. A lot of the big ones being GM, Magna, Active, Base Systems, and the amounts that they sponsor us range from $1,000 to even $15,000 and much more. So a lot of the amount is really based on how much and how well we reach out to them and we communicate our passion in this first world. Now, we're not just asking these sponsors for their money, and that's not right to do. We always try and develop a good, happy, and symbiotic relationship with these sponsors. And what I mean by that is whenever we're asking for something, we always try to give something back in return. And as I already mentioned, what they give us is money and also resources. There can be resource-based sponsors as well, which provide us with things like expensive CADing tools, softwares that we never had before, and also ability to host more events and competitions. As Mr. Losey was talking about, we do a lot of work helping out the lower levels of FIRST as well in FLL and FDC. And to host those competitions, we need a lot of money to organize, to bring food for the volunteers, and much more. And in return for sponsors, for the sponsors, we try and do as much as we can. That includes advertising on our T-shirts, robot, social media, and much more, which is seen at every competition we go to. As well, we have newsletters that we send them frequently every month to update them about our team's progress, and we also provide them tax benefits. As I mentioned, the newsletter. So here's an example. This is the Build season newsletter from the past year. And as you can see, being a part of a sponsorship team, you'll get the opportunity to design such newsletters and send them out to companies. So as you can see, there's outreach activities being outlined in this newsletter as well, showing the sponsors how we're excelling and how we're continuing to spread FIRST and have an impact in spreading STEAM in our community. As well as that, we also have a lot of build season updates, whether it be programming, fabrication, and design, visually showing them and demonstrating all the progress we've been making. Now moving on to the marketing subgroup. So marketing is very vast, and it can range from a lot of different skills that you'll see on the next slide. So as you can see, marketing traditionally, when you think about it, entails a lot of social media, advertising, art and design, right? And we do a lot of that, and we would love your skill sets, and you are able to develop them even more as a marketing student. But also, another unique part of this in the robotics world is presentation skills, because marketing is really the key component of organizing and planning a lot of these outreach events. And that's when you'll get writing skills, you'll get photography skills at these events, as well as presentation to event organizers. Now, developing those skills leads you to a lot of different career paths that you can pursue. And that ranges from advertising to motivational speaking to photography, as I mentioned, and YouTuber as well, because a lot of presenting skills you need in order to be a YouTuber. And then, of course, being an artist, because a lot of the design and that goes out in the flyers that our team makes is really useful for you as a skill. Now, what does a marketing team do, essentially, right? So, as I mentioned, social media and putting our team visibility out there is a huge part of marketing. But apart from that, we also conduct a lot of event planning and outreach for our team, as well as creating new initiatives. So trying to find a direction where our team can continue more STEAM outreach is something that marketing really thrives in. So there's really two main types of outreach that our team does, and one of them is STEAM first outreach. So this type of outreach is where we go to local events like Troy Days, Troy Traffic Jam. We go to the Michigan Science Center, the Ann Arbor Hands-On Museum, or really cool and sometimes unexpected events that you might not ever have a chance to participate in, like the American Speed Festival, right? So all these events we go to, and the marketing team does a lot of the reaching out, coordinating, and organizing, as well as the planning and actually taking our robot and our STEAM kits. So what I mean by STEAM kits is our team tries and spreads STEAM values and knowledge at all these events. So we have things like snap circuit kits and Legos. And being a part of the marketing team, you actually get to teach all these skills to young students and kids at those areas. So you get the opportunity to be teaching electronics through snap circuits at all these areas, for example. So that's one of the great things that also come with being in marketing. The other type of outreach is community betterment. So we try and help the community, as David mentioned, as much as we can. And a part of an example of that is our Adopt a Road cleanups and also our beach cleanup. So because of just the amazing amount of students we have on our team, we try and really use that to give back to our community. Next, moving on to the awards subgroup of our business team. So awards, as actually David was going through all the awards that we won in the past year and all of that. Now those come with a lot of effort. And apart from the robot awards, the business awards need a lot. So a lot of that being on the next slides. And they need a lot of writing and they need a lot of presenting. So next slide, David.
Shamal, can you repeat that? I think you were cutting out.
Oh, okay, no worries. Is it better?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay.
Yeah.
So the award subgroup, a lot of those awards that David was mentioning come with a lot of effort. And that effort being through writing essays and presenting, as well as doing extra outreach and initiatives and displaying that to judges at competitions in order to gain recognition for them. So a lot of the skills that you develop being an award student is public speaking skills, essay writing skills, script writing, and researching. So especially with researching, you might wonder why and how, but researching comes automatically as an award student because that's when you develop the knowledge and understanding on how you can combine loads of different types of outreaches and initiatives that our team is doing to present in the best way. Future professions that these skills lead to is, again, a speaker, journalist, politician, because obviously you need to present well, professor, and lawyer as well, because, again, presentation skills, writing skills, and etc. Some main FRC awards that I want to cover. The Impact Award, of course, the most prestigious award, but why it's the most prestigious award is because it really covers what team is doing the most in the community to spread STEAM in first and be a role model team. And engineering inspiration branches off of that. Sustainability also has an environmental aspect to it. And Dean's List and Woody Flowers are two individual awards that we need to write essays for and submit to. Now, tasks within awards. What really comprises of being within awards? A lot of writing, right? So writing our impact script, our impact essay, our Woody Flowers essay. All of these are critical components that we submit during the build season. So while marketing and sponsorship was a lot of the work is during the off season, awards is really mainly in the build season. And you also get the amazing opportunity to try out to be on our impact or engineering inspiration presenting teams. Anyone on our team can try out for these awards and for these roles. And these two teams comprise of only 3 students each. And being those 3 students, you get the opportunity to represent our whole team at the district, state, and even world level. So there's a lot of intense training that goes with it, but you get this amazing opportunity to represent our team this way. Yeah, so here's our impact video that we had our very past year, and we make one every year, and you get to see all the impact that we do.
In the past 27 years, the Hammerheads have increased our dedication, teamwork, and impact. Our primary goal is to cultivate future STEAM leaders through a student-led, collaborative learning environment. To achieve this goal, we worked this season to develop our members' interpersonal skills and ensure everyone is granted opportunities within STEAM.
Meeting with representatives from our local and state governments, such as Michigan Senator Valerie McMurray and Congresswoman Kim Stevens, has allowed us to advocate to protect critical funding for valuable community STEAM programs. We are also part of the Troy School District Bond Review Committee, collaborating with our community and school board members like Troy School Superintendent Dr. Richard Macheski to propose and pass a $555 million bond for school renovations, including new spaces specially allocated for first teams. This has allowed us to create a source of representation for first teams, not just in Troy, but in Michigan as a whole.
As one of the largest Michigan robotics teams, we work hard to provide opportunities for underrepresented minorities and areas to gain an interest and opportunity to pursue STEAM. Our team efforts have led to a significant increase in female membership, from 10% to 33% in the past 10 years. We've also recently collaborated with the Troy School District to implement a mechatronics class that will allow students to learn principles of engineering and gain certification in using specific engineering equipment. These are just some examples of what our team has been able to achieve over the past decade in an effort to improve community engagement and allow all audiences to pursue an interest in robotics. Shared across all our social media platforms.
That's the gist of it.
Our team also hosts Career STEM Day, when we invite middle schoolers to our woodshop for a tour. Our team also hosts our weekly web series, Careers in STEAM, to connect our community with 226 alumni who give viewers an in-depth perspective into the career opportunities that FIRST can open up. With over 3,000 views to date across 2 seasons, this series has proven to be a valuable tool in gaining insights and answering questions about the different careers in the STEAM field.
We as the Hammerheads strive to represent FIRST in our community, integrate those with a passion for STEAM and FIRST.
Yeah, so that's really the gist of our Impact video. As you can see, we're trying to showcase, this is something that our awards team put together, and this is just trying to showcase all the different things we do as a team, whether it be on robot or just trying to spread STEAM and FIRST in our community.
Okay, so now we're going to have our engineering vice president, Abby, talk about the engineering subgroups.
Hello. Yes, thank you for introducing me, David. I'm Abby. I'm the engineering vice president on 226, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about engineering today. So when most people think of robotics, typically their mind goes to the engineering subgroups. This is the part of the team that really takes our support from business and helps to output it into a robot that can actually compete on competitions. So we have a specific process that we go through, starting with design, fabrication, and programming, and I'll tell you a little bit about each of those steps today. So to start off with, the first subgroup in season that does the most work would be design. So next slide. Some of the things that design can do is, even from the very first day, they start off on the very first day. At kickoff, they get right on the jump, they're ready to go. Once they first release the game season, design is there to brainstorm the winning game strategy from the game that's given to us, and work with the rest of the team to collaborate and come up with the best way to approach all of these different problems with one robot. Taking that strategy, they go and they design these robot mechanisms using CAD and 3D design softwares to fully render and create it in a virtual space. Design also gets the chance to 3D print custom parts that are come up here in our school and use the CNC router during season to cut pieces that will go on the robot. In a competition setting, design is also responsible for compiling and communicating alliance strategies to both our alliance partners and the drive team before we get on field so that they all can work together and use the robot capabilities in the best possible way. So if you were to join design, what are some of the skills and benefits that you would learn? To start off with, you would learn robot and subsystem brainstorming. So from strategy at the very get-go, you would start to learn what is the best way to approach multiple problems with one solution. Working with the team, you would learn how to take pieces that already exist or fabricate new pieces to be able to solve a problem that may or may not have been solved before. You also would learn how to research and engineer new solutions to a problem. Sometimes we'll need to look at other teams' robots, maybe something that a team has done 2 or 3 years ago, something that our team has done maybe 2 or 3 years ago, using solutions that have already been come up with and merging them and combining them to be able to use them again in this season. You would also learn structural design knowledge to help figure out how best a bracket can be made to be support with the least amount of material and also have the least amount of weight on our robot. How to best make something the best shape so that it fits packages nicely into a confined space. All of these things you'll learn during design off-season and design build season. Last but not least, you'll also learn our CAD program, Onshape, to help you 3D model and put together all of the pieces of our robot to fully assemble what you see in our shop today. Some of the things that you may also end up doing are 3D printing custom parts made from Onshape or exporting files to Fusion or Inventor to create CAM and custom CNC parts that we'll send over to the router. So some of the possible outcomes of this subgroup could be a engineer. Just generally, most engineers use CAD. Could be a designer going more into the arts, using 3D design, maybe animation. All of these things can be taught here in the design subgroup. So after the end of season, we have this final result. David, yep. So from all of the CAD, all of the work that's put together through season, this is the final result of all the design subgroups work. In only 2 weeks, they put together a fully rendered, fully put together robot that they can now send off to fabrication so that fabrication can start making it real. So just as I mentioned, the next subgroup in the process would be fabrication. This is the group, it's kind of in the middle. They take another 2 weeks during build season to start creating and machining the robot. So what is fabrication responsible for? Some of the things that fabrication can do in shop is working with machinery and hand tools, things that sometimes you'd see in your garage, some things that you wouldn't. So a good example would be wrenches, screwdrivers, and drills that we all keep in our workbench. But we also use more complex machines, which I'll go over a little bit more later, such as the mill or the lathe, that you really don't see every day. Fabrication is responsible for manufacturing and machining all of the parts that design would send to them to create and assemble. And then after those pieces are finished, cut, ready to be put on the robot, they'll assemble all of the robot pieces in very quick time. They'll also work with electrical systems and design to properly place and house electrical, how to best route wires, and route connections between multiple devices. Throughout season, they also will maintain the robot, and in a competition setting, they're responsible for pits, pit crew, and maintaining any breaks that happen during a competition. So if you were to join fabrication, what are some of the skills that you would learn? So going back to the pit setting, you would be able to learn how to engineer solutions in high-speed, quick environments. So say there's a situation where drive team comes back from the match with a robot that's maybe broken or damaged. Without a good fix, it won't be able to make it to our next match, and we won't be able to score. It's pit team's responsibility to come up with a quick solution. Maybe they don't have time to replace a part, maybe they do. Something that they can do in a quick amount of time to be able to send the team off to the next match and still be able to operate successfully. Fabrication is also responsible for all the electrical hardware and routing. Running wires through the robot, making sure that they don't get in the way of mechanisms, and connecting all of the devices securely. Learning about the FRC robot hardware, our control systems such as the Robo Rio, even down to motors and sensors that you don't really see anywhere else. You'll also be responsible for drawing out electrical maps, camera positions, and LED positions, basically any type of thing that's connected to electrical on our robot. Fabrication is also responsible for the production of parts and will help you with guided use of the professional machines. As I mentioned earlier, the mill and the lathe, which are pictured here on the right, these are very specialized machines that usually you don't really see until college or much more advanced machine shops. This is something that we have full access to, and it's a special opportunity that we can use to teach you about these machines and give you an advantage on before heading off into college. We also do other operations such as powder coating and soon to be laser cutting inside of our shop here. Yep, and the final result after those fabrications, weeks of hard work, is this final robot all put together, strong. Many of these competitions are very rough and tumble to say, and the robot survives through very many of them and is well built. So after all this, they send it off to programming and controls to figure out how to start this robot to actually move on the field. So what are some of the things that programming would be responsible for? So programming is, as the name suggests, it helps program the robot for movement and control on the field. So we have an example video here of one of the controls that programming does.
Go.
Whoa!
It was a little bit harder to see, but that was basically a video of last year's robot, and it shot the game piece out of the robot and up into the air, which was one of the objectives. So programming controls and coordinates all of the different functions that need to be maintained to be able to do that. They test prototypes created and designed by fabrication. They also create set points and driver shortcuts for maximum efficiency on the field, robot vision and positioning, autonomously using AI or camera sensor. And they also create autonomous programs and operations during the first period of the match. During a competition setting, programming is also responsible for maintaining the scouting application, which helps us to watch other teams' performance in the match and figure out which team would best match us when it's time to pick our own alliances.
Go.
So if you were to join programming, what are some of the skills that you would learn? So first of all, you would learn how to coordinate and operate real-life objects through code in your computer. You would learn how to communicate with motors, sensors, cameras, operation controls, all of that, much more. We can use these program controls to operate the robot, bind buttons on the driver's controllers to different mechanisms on the robot and causing them to operate, AI object detection and vision processing to be able to pick up and detect note game pieces, and even autonomous sensing, path planning, and sequencing, all done without the help of any drivers on the field. If you were to join programming, some of the professions you could go into afterwards would be most obvious computer science, but also other types of AI and camera detection vision in the future. So the final result after programming is 2 weeks, after sending the robot into competition, they come out with, this is a good example of one of our autonomous periods. On the right, on the left, it shows the picture of where the robot thinks it is, and on the left, it shows where the robot actually is. So using AI detection, sensors, and mechanism coordination, the robot can fully receive and operate all of the controls necessary to do everything without any driver input. So now that we've just talked about those 3 subgroups, how do they all work together? So as David mentioned earlier, in January through March, we have our build season. This will start with the kickoff where, like I mentioned, design starts getting going. This is usually the first or second Saturday of January. Sometimes it falls around winter break. This is when all of the game rules are released for the first time, and every single team starts going and designing their robots. After that, we have FRC build season. It's a very hectic but fun time. It comprises of 6 weeks. The first 2 weeks are usually strategy, design, programming, and weeks 3 through 6 are prototyping, not programming. Weeks 3 through 6 are fabrication and programming, where we can build, program, tune, and practice all of the robot and get it ready for competition. This is probably one of the most exciting portions of season and where we really get to know the most people. So I'll pass it off to Mr. Losi so that he can talk about fees and how to help join the team.
Yes. So hopefully you guys all got an introduction to all the different subgroups. So we went through all the business and engineering subgroups. I know it's a lot of information. I know we went fast, and there's even more to it, but we didn't want to overwhelm everybody too much. So the way we do registration is sort of in multi-steps. The first step is to fill out the form. If you go to our website, which I'll put into the chat right now, www.hammerhead226.org, you can start to fill out a registration form. And that needs to be done by August 2nd. So that gets you registered. We know you want to be on the team and you have interest. From there, you join a boot camp. After that, you kind of get your feet wet and understand what your subgroup's about. By end of September, we need to start collecting the fees for the team. And for this year, you can see these are the typical fees for the team. So every Troy High School club has a $50 per student school pay. So this does not go to the team. This goes to the district through school pay, and it's $50, I believe, this year. Then there's an additional 226 dues, which is actually the dues that come to our team. A lot of these funds go to support things like the pieces and parts we need for the robot. A typical robot is somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000 a year. So this money over all the students helps pay for that, as well as the competitions that can run several $1,000s to participate. So between sponsorship and dues, we use that to cover our costs. Other fees that you should be aware of that are more optional are additional spiritware. Typically, students beyond I'm wearing the 226 shirt. I see a couple of the others on video are as well. You get 2 shirts automatically with the $250. If you wanted to purchase additional shirts, you saw different people in the videos and pictures wearing hats and winter caps and all sorts of jackets and baseball caps and all sorts of stuff. You can buy that additional spiritware. We typically order spiritware in October. And then for our competitions. For local competitions, there really isn't a fee. That's included in your annual dues to go to competitions. However, some of our competitions require travel, and that involves hotel rooms and overnight stays that are not included. If we have a competition that is overnight travel, it's going to be between $250 and $500 a trip. Usually those are 2 to 3 nights. That's kind of why the price difference exists. And we cover your food while you're on the trip and the transportation there. So that's $250 to $500. That usually includes state competition as well at the high end of that. And then if we're lucky enough to make it to Worlds, which for the last 2 years we've been able to, I think we've got a good shot this year. For those students that want to go to Worlds, it's about $1,500 to $2,000 per trip. That is a week-long travel. We take off of school. You get, we call you out of school. It's an excused absence because it's a school, considered a school field trip. We rent a bus. We all get on the bus and we drive down to Houston with our robot and our luggage. And we spend a week in Houston at a hotel with, like 600 other teams. And we compete for Worlds, for World Championships. And that's very exciting. You saw some pictures there. So that'd be the price if you'd want to go to Worlds. So like I mentioned, here's kind of the overall. To register for the team and just get started at boot camp. For that, at this point, there's no charge. We want to see if, with the new students, if this is what you're interested in, if this is for you. So you basically need to fill out the form that's on our website and register for team by Friday, August 2nd, midnight. This will get you registered for a boot camp. You'll declare which subgroup you want to be a part of. And then we will have boot camp the following week. Boot camp will be that Monday through Friday in the evenings virtually on the following week. The second step you'll have to do is register with FIRST. That'd be before attending any events. Any of you students that have already done FTC should be familiar with this, but we can walk you through that. The real fees come with school club fee is by September 2nd. That club fee will get you access to all the different clubs. So once you pay it for one club, you've paid it for all the clubs. And then team dues are due by September 30th. And then Shark Fest sign up will be in mid-October. And we'll also have a parent sign up. This program can't run without parent support. So this year we're requiring parent involvement from every student in some way. It can be as simple as carpooling to an event or bringing lunch to an event, not paying for it, but coordinating it. And we need to know the parents' role by mid-September.
Okay, so for what's next, like Mr. Losi said, boot camp is going to be soon. So make sure you mark your calendars for these dates. But for the week of August 5th through August 9th, that will be the 5-day boot camp where students will learn like basic skills of their subgroups. And you need to make sure you pick your subgroup that you want to join before that date. And if you go into your first day of boot camp and you feel like that subgroup isn't really for you, that's fine. If you realize that very early, but if you're late into boot camp, so on like day 4, day 3, it might be a bit too late to join some subgroups because they're already too far into their curriculum for you to catch up. Something else
Basically,
that
it's the first day, right, David? We'd want to know after
Yeah.
the first day if you wanted to switch subgroups.
Yes,
And that boot camp will be in the evenings, correct?
yes.
Okay.
Something else exciting for you guys is we are actually having an off-season competition next week. So on July 27th to the 28th, we have a competitions at Athens High School. So it's very local. And you guys can feel free to attend the event and just get a feel for what an FRC competition is like. Would recommend. It's very fun. Okay, so now do we have any questions?
Feel free to just unmute your mic and ask any questions if you have them, or type any in chat. Anything about the entire presentation, we can all answer any questions.
So I'm a new student parent. I'm wondering, during the week of boot camp, they have other classes at the same time in the evening. So how does that work if they are not able to join the boot camp?
Do you want to answer that, David?
So if you we're gonna have this boot camp during the summer, but there's also going to be a boot camp in like the off season later during the school year. But if you want to be on the team, it's very important that you attend at least one of those boot camps.
Yes. Let me
Okay,
add. And I see the same question in the chat. Is it required to join boot camp? So basically, yes, is the simple answer. So boot camp gives us a chance to go through things like shop safety, which is really important because we don't want anybody getting hurt. And really, with a lot of these subgroups like programming and business, getting connected to our systems, getting on the right chat pages, understanding how our share drive works, we kind of go through that helps integrate you into the team. So I'd say, yes, boot camp is necessary. If you do have a conflict in that week, we can talk about getting you integrated maybe later on, but there's going to be some subgroups that's going to be very difficult to do with if you don't go to the boot camp. I'd say for like marketing is a good example, is you might be able to get away with just a few things and we can kind of get you caught up, but other subgroups, like for example programming, there's a lot of specific things to our competition that we teach in boot camp that you can't even start to work without having that basic understanding from boot camp. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, so they have the option of doing one during the school year if they have to miss this one due to conflict of scheduling.
Yes, we can do that, but they're not going to be so effective on the team until they take the boot camp. So some of the earlier activities they're going to be able to attend, but yeah, they're going to need to go to the boot camp once school starts to get caught up, or we start them out in a different subgroup.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, this is Deepa here. I just joined a little late. Which days are the boot camp, please?
August 5th through August 9th.
Okay, thank you.
Speaking of boot camps, where do you sign up for the boot camp? Like, do you have to pay a fee or like, where do you sign up?
I think it's like in the enrollment form, you kind of sign up and declare like your interest in what subgroup you want to like join, and then it's online, so you'll be sent like a Teams link.
Yes.
Oh,
If you go to hammerhead226.org, you'll see an enrollment for 24-25, and it will say complete this form. So when you complete that form, it'll ask you what subgroup you want to be a part of. And then once you have that, the leaders of that subgroup will contact you with the details of how to connect to the training.
Yes. So, like, for boot camp, is there like, do they teach the basics, or are there going to be any other activities or anything else?
It will be the basics, but you're also going to be gaining like a lot of access to important things. So like for programming, you're gonna have to set up a bunch of accounts so that you can actually write code. And it's a lot of basic Java to make sure you can code the robot.
Yeah, so for any meetings for the boot camp, is it like in Microsoft Teams, or is there like a link to them?
It would be in Microsoft Teams, yes.
Okay, so we'll be sent notifications for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, but where exactly?
Yeah, once you sign up with the enrollment form, you'll be sent all the information, like where we're conducting the boot camp, all the extra communication of okay, which groups is at what time, and all of that. But basically, that week is when boot camp is definitely going to be conducted.
But will it be sent like through mail or like?
I believe that in the enrollment form, you'll be able to put your email in. Typically, we'll send all of the information that you need to attend boot camps and events through mail. So you'll be able to see the information sent to you through email.
Oh, okay, thank you.
There's a question in the chat. Is it okay if I don't fully attend the boot camp? On August 8th, I'm going on vacation. So I think it kind of depends per subgroup. Some subgroups will be going much faster with much more content to dive into and learn. So depending on your subgroup, typically the first 4 days are generally okay. Especially if it's a major conflict like that, there will be the second makeup boot camp later in season where you can be taught most of the other information. But the main 4 days, as long as you have majority of the information, I believe it'll be fine.
Just to know, where is the enrollment form again?
It's on the website.
It's
the link
in the
that
chat.
was sent in chat.
Yep.
I have a quick question. Like someone is like, it is only for the grade 9 who is starting, or someone going to grade 11 can also start doing now?
Absolutely. We've got new students in all different grades. If you've got an 11th grader, they're more than welcome to join as well.
Okay.
We have every year. We get new students that are seniors, we get new students that are freshmen, all and everywhere in between.
Okay, great. Thank you.
For programming, is there any like coding language required, like JavaScript or anything, or is it like blocks?
You will be taught how to write code in Java during boot camp.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I have a question to Lucy. As a FTC coaches, do you think that we can help in any way in terms of technical things? Because I'm also coaching the FTC team. My son is going to high school this year, but I'm still coaching the FTC team.
Okay. I'm glad to hear you're coaching an FTC team. I think what you're asking is, do those skills transfer over, right?
No. As a coaches, is there any way we can help in the FRC as well?
Yes, for sure. The events, if we can have FTC teams help us out at some events, that's always helpful. We're always looking for volunteers. And I know for FTC, that helps a lot with your outreach. So yes, we also partner with elementary schools, and I'm always looking for FTC teams that will help out FLL teams. So
You know,
separately, we can talk about how you can support that.
so we did that the last year as well. What I'm asking is for the coaches to help in the FRC, not for the whole team to participate for the outreach
Oh,
and all. I was talking more from the main coaches perspective. Can they involve in FRC as well? Is there any way we can help? Because the seasons are staggered because FTC season
yes.
is over when the FRC starts. So I was thinking for more roles for the coaches who can help.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm looking forward to FTC coaches and past FTC coaches to be mentors on this team. We are always looking for more mentors. If you go through the registration document, it asks if you'd be interested in being a mentor and just
Mhm.
click yes. For sure,
Okay.
we've got openings in different subgroups that we need mentors to participate with those subgroups. So yes, there will be a parents meeting later on to go through in more detail, but if you're willing to get on board sooner, we can start to get you set up as a mentor on the subgroups. So
Yeah, I
yes.
definitely like to do that.
Okay, perfect. We'd be happy to have you.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions?
And this can be any specific doubts you guys have as well, like any, over any of the slides we covered and overview we did.
Could even go as far as the layout of shops, times, maybe in business, how many newsletters they send out. Any big or small question is all right.
One thing I'll add is this leadership team's been meeting, a couple times a week for a month or two now. And we've done a lot of new things this year. And one of the things we did is we're rewriting a lot of our boot camp content because we had in past years, one of the lessons learned we took was some of the students that had never done any of these tasks before, they felt like we were moving too fast. So we've sort of simplified boot camp down to start from the basics so that even if you don't have experience in the subgroup, we can start to teach you. But at the same time, we know we have students that come from FTC with a lot of experience. And we've got a strategy to kind of get them moving too and teach them what they need to know. And in the past, we used boot camp. At the end of boot camp, we had a very severe, I would say, especially in a couple of the subgroups, a severe test to sort of judge how the students did. I don't think we're doing that as much this year, but we are using boot camp to help evaluate where everybody stands from a skill standpoint. And it's not that we're ranking students, it's different students have different skills, and we want to put you where you fit best. So where you need help, we'll put you with an experienced member who maybe knows how to do that better. The other things where if you're good at something, we may put you with another new student that's never done it before, and you can help teach. Leadership on this team is basically if you can step up and help lead and guide, we will take your leadership skill. So we'll give you the opportunities based on your skill level. There was a comment in the questions. It says, if we sign up and change our minds later, are there any cancellation fees? Yes and no is sort of the answer. So initially for boot camp, the answer is no. And I can see school pay is not open yet. Correct. So once you pay on school pay, you basically, there's no refunds there. That's why we do boot camp before we have anybody pay, is so that you can see if this is something you're interested in. So for boot camp, if you do it and you decide just none of these subgroups seem like they're for me, this really isn't the club I wanted to be a part of, that's okay. We'd rather have you find that out early and give you the opportunity to see what our club's about. Once you make the payments, then there's basically no refunds. So, we register you and we get you t-shirts and we get all that stuff for our dues, but that's why we wait till end of September, so that by then you've been a month in shop and in the team in school, and you understand your school workload along with the Hammerhead workload of being on the team. So we wait on the fees to pay until you've gotten into school so that you can decide. But once you decide to pay, then there's no refunds. I hope that answers the question. Okay, can I fill out the form before I pay? Yes, please fill out the form before you pay. So if it said that, then that's not correct. You should be filling out the form as soon as possible and, getting your Discord account set up, getting your picture, some of the stuff you need there done, and then get that done. Boot camp can happen before you pay. So in fact, we expect it that way. Now, for our returning members that know they're going to be on the team, I would say fill that out. And pay now. Pay to participate field is mandatory. Okay, if so, we will work on fixing that because it may not be open yet. I'll double check that and make sure. We're doing this a little earlier this year than we have in the past. Good questions. Any others?
Lucy, one more question. For the off-season competition, can the FTC teams come and watch?
Absolutely, I highly suggest it. This is going to be a fun one. The one at Athens, we're all really excited. It's going to be super competitive this year. There's some really good robots there. We're excited about our chances. And yes, bring your FTC teams. It's a great experience for them. They'll have a lot of fun. It's going to be an exciting, colorful event.
Yeah, I think it's good to post in the Discord so that FTC teams will know.
You're talking the CRF Discord?
No, yeah, FRC Discord. Yep. FTC, TRF, sorry, TRF
Yep.
Discord.
Yep, we'll get it put in there for sure.
Okay, so there was a question in chat asking how many members are currently on the team, and considering the existing team members, How many open slots are available now for 9th graders? How many people are in each business group and engineering team? Okay, so I think there's a little over 110 students on the team right now, but there is not like a limit to how many students can be on the team. You can just join, and I think it's for business, there's like 20 something, and then like 80, 90 engineering students.
Yeah, there's really please don't think of it as a, there's limited slots. We really welcome any and all freshmen, juniors, sophomores, seniors, anyone who's interested. Because honestly, the more people, it's the better our team works, and there's definitely a lot of work that more people can do. Definitely.
I know at one time the team was like 180 students. So, that was when we were combining schools maybe. But yes, it's, like Shamant said it best, the more students we have, the more things we can accomplish and the quicker we can get it done.
Are there any other questions?
Okay. So I think the only follow-up we have is, well, two. We've got to get the Rainbow Rumble in the TRF Discord. We can do that. And then this pay to participate, we'll work on getting that not being mandatory. What I would suggest short term is if it says it's not available, just take a screen grab of that and send that to us and say the system isn't up yet as a short term. And that probably would be a good countermeasure short term. And then we'll follow up later. All right. If nothing else, I'd say thank you, everyone. Yes, go ahead. There was some.
Is there any way we can contact you if there's any further information about anything?
Are our emails in the battle? Okay.
Yes, good question. So there's two ways. One is in our webpage, there's a you can mail us. That is an option. We also have a team email address. It's troyhammerheads@gmail.com. And you can email us with any questions there.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Let me put that in the chat too. Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, that's a good question. So if anybody needs to email us, you get any follow-up questions, feel free to reach out to us. That Gmail account is sort of the coach's, so it'll go to me and we can answer the questions for whoever needs to answer it in the team. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. And keep in mind, we need that registration finished by August 2nd. So I'd say get going on that. Don't wait till last minute. There's a lot in that. And then that becomes our cutoff for setting up for boot camp. So thank you all and have a great day.
Yeah, Lucy, that payment thing will be fixed and emailed to everyone, or how should we go about that?
Yeah, like I said, you can either put in a picture that the system's not up yet, or we'll work on getting it changed to not be mandatory.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Adios.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.